Hello, everybody. I knew I was forgetting something, and that was to get the tablet ready. Hope everybody's having a magnificent day. Let's see where I can set this and still be able to view it and all that fun stuff. You know what I need to do is get the reel off my desk. I know, surprising. Put that down and lay a box of reels, and there we go. So hey, everybody. Okay. Oh. So I'm playing with a bunch of different hooks right now. Got this bag at 9, 10, 20, 70, 50, however many odd there are. And some Eagle Claw Laser Sharp 8/0 Circle C's, and some 6/0 Circle C's, some H2OX 7/0 because I don't know. And let's see, you got swivels. I'm going to use Eagle Claw 3/0. And they're supposed to be up near 100 pounds of strength, something like that. You got some size 3 barrel swivels, and then I've got some number 7 50 pieces off of Timu. So those are only going to be for links to swivels. And I've already painted myself in a corner because some of the stuff I want is right there. Thought, and I'm more than thought. Somewhere. Oh, it's empty. Okay. Make sure it's not back here. What I'm looking for. Nope. Okay. Apparently I was out of swivels on my desk. So thanks for everybody for coming in. And let's see. Let's start off the thing. Let's do a little ooh, look, lights. Yay! Whatever. All right. So I've got Trilene Big Game 30. I got some Suffix Superior 40 and some Suffix Superior 80. Not that you needed to know all of that. So I wanted to start off with a recap. Hey, Stinko. How you doing, my friend? Glad to have you in here. Always good to see you, my man. So I kind of want to start off with a recap of last weekend. So Friday, we went to Pickwick. Not Pickwick. The Tennessee River. Kind of sorts that area. Ray, that's a good question. We're going to be doing catfish rigs, but it applies to pompano rigs as well, saltwater stuff. And it's also just a general discussion because, frankly, I'm a little lost. I'll explain that. So I've been working to create the ultimate rig, right? Taking stuff that we already know works and adding things to it that hopefully work better. Just because I consider myself a student of life, that does not mean that I'm smarter than anyone else. Certainly not if I still need to be learning stuff, right? I guess we all need to be learning stuff. And sorry, getting my little desk organized. So the rig that I've been playing with lately is the Mortician's rig, and it worked. But did it work doing the right things? And that's what I want to go over. So the way I tied it, I have a 40-pound main line coming down to a 3/0 swivel, coming down to 80-pound Suffix Superior, then going to either 30 or 40-pound at the bottom for the sinker, and then the snoods or traces or whatever that come off of the 80-pound main leader. That is 40-pound. So the idea behind the rig, and this is why I'm not sure I'm doing it right, or that my thinking isn't right. So let's go to the goal of the rig. The goal of the rig is to catch the biggest fish humanly possible, the fish of a lifetime. Okay. So let's say that we can't get that fish in. What do we want to break? Right? So there's so many points of failure along the process. And I come from an IT world, and, for the longest time, you can have you're going to have a bottleneck. It's either CPU, memory, or hard disk, whether it be speed or capacity. Of course, now you can add in GPUs to that, but whatever. So, it's always a moving target. If you want to get faster, well, you add more CPU. Well, then RAM becomes the bottleneck or hard drive becomes the bottleneck. So no matter what you do, there's always a bottleneck somewhere. There's a limiting factor to reaching greatness. Thank you, Sheik. I am going to do my best not to go bald. I appreciate you. If I'm your favorite live streamer, it just tells me that you're bad at life. But that's okay. Appreciate you being here. Hey, gosh, welcome in. So the issue that I've got is, in a perfect world, we want the line to break at the hook, right? Because we want, if the fish is going to get away, we want it to get away with the least hardware in its mouth possible. We don't want to send it out there with, 100 yards of 40-pound mono sticking out of its face, right? Right. So I don't want to say I'm going to throw somebody under the bus here, and that's not what I'm doing at all. But I'll use Palmetto Cats, Fatboy Rigs, as an example. Okay, he ties his rigs. He lists on his website he uses 80-pound Andy Monster line. Supposed to be really good, abrasion resistant, 80-pound. Now, as a person who's tying rigs, well, I don't want my rig to be the reason you lost a fish. Sorry, I'm looking at myself in two places, and that's just too many. Hey, Dink over Stink. Sorry, you were already here. Hey, nobody really, good to see you. I do not make my own bait. I tie my own rigs, because most people do, but some people buy them. Anyway, so if I'm making a rig for someone else, I do not want that rig to be the reason they lost the fish. And catfish do have teeth. People say it's like sandpaper. It's like really sharp sandpaper. Because if you ever, stick your hand in the mouth of a big catfish, and you might draw a little blood. Not a lot, just a little bit. A little bit. So the purpose behind the mortician's rig that I was using was you get 40-pound snoods off of an 80-pound mainline. So, and then the sinker's tied on with either 30 or 40-pound. Anyway, so your hooks are there with 40-pound. Your sinker is 40-pound or less, and your mainline my mainline is 40 pounds. So the goal is to not lose everything if you get hung up. If your sinker gets hung up, you want to break it off. If one of your hooks gets hung up, you want to break it off and get the other hook and the sinker back. I'm talking about double drop rigs, right? But what does that do for us? So if I got 40-pound mainline, and the goal, the idea is that the little loop knot that I create to take the trace off of the main line, that it's going to break hopefully before the main line does. But then why do I have 80-pound main leader? So when I talk about that, let me kind of put it a little into perspective. So you got the 80-pound main line coming down, and then you got the 40-pound coming out the side that's attached to the hook. I don't know that visual helped at all. Hey, Carl, I am in the Memphis area. The reason the typical setup that's used in the catfish community is 30 or 40-pound main line, maybe 20-pound, I don't know, whatever you use, and a heavier leader, because the catfish has the sandpaper stuff in the mouth, all that kind of stuff. You use 40-pound main line and 30 to 35 if you can get it on a leader. Carl, that is a topic, my friend. What are you fishing for? So looking for big bluegill and crappie. Okay, so south of Memphis in Mississippi, which requires a Mississippi license, fishing license. There's the big four lakes. There is Arkabutla, which doesn't matter right now because it's drained because the dam had problems, and that sucks because now you have to drive down to at least Sardis then there's Enid, and then there's Grenada. All four of those lakes, and Arcabutla may have changed since it's not really a lake right now, have a 12-inch minimum crappie limit. Those are trophy crappie lakes. If you want a 3-pound crappie, that's your place to go. Any of those. Okay, so Dink, if you break off, you don't lose your swivel, weights, etc. So you're coming down to a sinker slide or whatever, swivel, and then your leader goes to just the hook. Is that how I'm understanding your rig? Because we do it differently. In your country, you don't fish catfish, just netting it, but I understand because I can see video. Well, so Akash, where are you from? I'll ask that question. And so catfish is a really oddball fish in the U.S. because it has and carp is getting that way, where you have a lot of people that are going after those species, but for the most part, and that's changing, are unregulated. They're not considered game fish, even if they are regulated. They're from India. Okay. So for catfishing, you can, in most places, well, some places I know of anyway, you can use, some places will allow you to use gill nets, believe it or not, but you can use baskets, fish basket trap things. You use traps. You can use a lot of things. And in most cases, they're not limiting the number of catfish you can catch, but they are limiting the maximum length that you can keep. Yes, not game fish yet. But see, we have it's a rough mix because in some areas, like the Potomac area, they hate blue cats and flatheads, especially blue cats. I don't know if they have flatheads, but they hate blue cats because the was it whatever bay that is there that Potomac is in, and blue crabs. Those blue cats are eating all our blue crabs. We can't have that. So they're considered an invasive species. A lot of people want to get rid of them. In other areas, flatheads are invasive species. You name it, right? So it's interesting. Hey, Jody. Hey. Ooh, let me use this one. Where is it? I gotta use it if I can find it. There's Jody. Wee-hoo! Hey, Jody, how you doing? So it gets a little frustrating there. And I'll go back here to Carl. You were asking. So bluegill. So everybody doesn't know, hadn't heard me complain about Memphis fishing yet. I'll do it again. So Memphis, compared to other areas that I've fished, we don't have a lot of lakes. We don't have a lot of water bodies. We have a gigantic sand aquifer, which is where our drinking water comes from. It's this layers upon multitudes of sand that filter our water. It's delicious water. I mean, it's water, but it's very good water, high quality, you name it. Natural purification. Well, when I lived in Dallas, for instance, they had to build reservoirs. And those reservoirs are made for, one of the reasons is drinking water. You know, there are watersheds and things like that to control water flow, but for the most part, it's drinking water we can fish in. And if you want to get really close. Hey, Jerry, good to see you. Well, I'll tell you what. Welcome in, Dave. Glad to have you here, my friend. Glad to have you. It goes as far as it wants to go. I can't make it stop. So, of course, yes, we do have the Mississippi River that runs through us. Now, that's a lot of water, but there's not a lot of bank access. So if you don't have a boat, you're partially SOL. Even with a boat, from north of Meeman Shelby Park, which is about 20 miles, I'm going to make numbers up, north of downtown Memphis. So even a little north of there, all the way down to the Mississippi state line, we'll call it another 20 miles the other way. It's probably not that long. But I don't know how far in Mississippi you have to go before there are no warnings. But you don't eat the fish. You don't want to eat the fish. There's advisories, mercury, all that kind of stuff. So we have 2 TWRA lakes. One is Glen Springs. It's up past Millington. I think Drummond's is technically the city. And then there is Herb Parsons, which is over in Fisherville, which is kind of out sort of Collierville kind of area, Piperton, that kind of area. But those you have, in addition to your fishing license, you have to buy a TWRA lake license, which is actually more expensive than the fishing license. Not by much. But, so you have to have those there. And they have different regulations. You can't use a cast net in those. If you have a boat, you can idle speed only, no wake. Well, actually, no wake, not just idle, but no wake. And there are different, limits, as several different body waters have. But you can also go to Lake Graham up in Jackson. You can go to Whiteville Lake, which may or may not require that second license I was talking about. I don't remember. There may be an exception for that one. In any case, then you've got the municipality lakes, ponds, whatever you would call them, in the lakes, or in the parks. Excuse me. Memphis City. Your parks, thanks to city council, are not allowed to be fished unless there's a sign that says it can be fished. The exception, and I don't think it's actually a city park, is Shelby Farms. There are 3 or 4 of the lakes over there that you are allowed to fish in. But we have a lot of people that want to fish, and Memphis City is huge compared to most large cities. We have a belt that goes around 240 around the city, or around the area 240, the loop, like a lot of towns have loops. Everything within 240, make sure I'm not lying here, yes, everything in that loop is the city of Memphis, and it goes up past that. So you're talking about the loop that's supposed to go kind of around the city, doesn't actually go around the city. Now, other metropolitan areas are, of course, larger, but I'm talking about city limits. So again, that's why Memphis City parks. So you got all these people in the city of Memphis that want to go fishing. The bank access to the Mississippi is severely limited. You have a lot of companies that own the riverfront access and don't let you in there. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate it. And my live stream yesterday got 21,000 views and I think it was over 200 watch hours. Like, how'd that happen? Not complaining. Very happy about it. Thank you, Jody. You have a good evening as well, dear. Hey, Cindy. Ooh, people come in. Hey, Cindy. How you doing? So I'm answering a question from Carl Johnson up there. So fishing is difficult. Depending on what part of the little air metroplex you're in. So Bartlett has International Harvest. Well, actually, it's not. I think it's Lakeland, maybe Arlington. One of them, International Harvester Park. There's Appling Park, which is right across from Appling Lake, which is behind the BPAC, which is right across from the police station. You get other small parks. Davies Plantation is one. If you go up towards Millington, there's Orgel Lake, which I think is in the golf course. I could be wrong on that. You also have a lake or two inside Shelby Forest. And there is a boat ramp up there for the Mississippi, but it's actually not technically part of Shelby Forest. Interesting. Shelby Farms, Shelby Forest, 2 different things for anybody who's listening. Shelby Farms is a large park to the east of the town. Meeman Shelby Forest is a state park, I believe, and it is north of Memphis, like way north. Well, 20 miles or so. Takes me 45 minutes to get there, put it like that. Eddie, I am not a bass fisherman any longer. Personally, it is hard to beat a plastic worm if you're using artificials. If you're not using artificials, then of course anything that breathes. And I say worms because worms have got more fish than anything else. But then you got the myriad of choices of worms, whether it's a lizard-looking thing, or soft plastics, I guess would be better than saying worms. Um, but then, spinner baits are very popular and work well. Chatterbaits work well. Top water plugs at the right time work well. Whopper ploppers, everybody loves those. Uh, it, it, I can't. I am not qualified to answer the question, although I can tell you that there's not a best bass bait. There is someone's favorite, and we all have different favorites. I'll give you an example. When I lived in Dallas, I fished with a bass fishing club, and they were associated with BASS. And there were some really good folks in there. And one of the great things about it was you had boaters and non-boaters, and it was a lottery drawing system. So you signed up as a boater, or you signed up as a non-boater, and the boaters were paired with non-boaters until they ran out. Of course, most people had or a lot of people had boats because, uh, yeah, everybody wants to control. No problem with that. But there was one guy. He was a Carolina rig expert. That was, if he was fishing, it was a Carolina rig. There's another one that called it the chicken shit rig, which was basically a split shot rig. You get your hook, your soft plastic, and a few inches up, you got a split shot or two. Lightweight Carolina rig, effectively, except it doesn't slide. You had people that were spinnerbait guys. You had people that were nothing but plugs. What are they called? Crankbaits. So find what you like and specialize in it. Modog is another YouTuber. Man, he is all over the chatterbaits. He thinks they're the greatest things since sliced bread. And the big thing you can do is you could spend a fortune on baits, and it's not going to make you a better fisherman. You got to know where the fish are, and then you got to give them something that they're interested in. But there are people out there that can outfish most anybody else with a pack of Zoom worms. So there's that. These people are spending $30, $50, $100 on hard baits. I don't understand. I can't throw $100 anything into the river unless it's a rod, and that's not because I intended to. So I hope I've answered. And then I'm sorry. Go back to more fishing places out in Germantown. There's a city park out there. I don't remember the name of it. A lot of people want to fish the Chick-fil-A pond, and it's out off of Germantown Parkway, I think. I won't say stay away from. What's the name of that lake? It's off the Mississippi. It's where all the barges go. I can't think of the name. Stay away from Kilowatt Lake unless you want to get mugged, shot, killed, whatever. Car stolen. I don't know. But the lake I'm thinking about, from what I've been told, they're allowed to dump sewage there. It's also a very polluted trash area. Not to say there aren't fish there. I just wouldn't eat the fish out of there, but you're already not supposed to because it's part of the Mississippi River system, etc. The Wolf River has the same problem. It's also a very fast-moving river for as small as it is. But if you go out further, like out past, like out towards like Rossville and stuff, there's supposed to be some good fishing there. So there's that. Interesting. Let me see if my chat has stopped because they both show two different things, and neither one of them seem very current. Nope. Okay, so I'm current. So back to the rig, the Catfish rig specifically. Again, most people are going to use 20, 30, 40-pound mainline and then go down to a heavier leader going to their hook. Now the swivel may be above, like a Carolina rig style, above the swivel that, then leads down to the leader. So maybe they only lose the hook when they pull, when they get snagged. But if the sinker gets snagged, then you're definitely losing the hook as well. Which again is what brought me to trying to find a better way. And the Mortician's rig is a great double drop system. I got snagged Friday a lot and got snagged Sunday a lot. And in some cases, I lost the full rig, which can make sense because 40 pound going to an 80 pound that has 40 pound stuff hanging off of it. So while I would think that the knot difference would be enough, it not necessarily. Or I mean, in theory, the sinker could have got wedged between a couple of rocks too. I don't know. And I think of the swivel. So in any case, I lost some full rigs. I lost some where I broke off the hook. I lost some where I broke off the sinker. But I got the rest of the rig back, whether it be, again, both hooks and no sinker or a hook and a sinker. But then I'm back to using 40-pound leader that's going to the fish's mouth. And if I'm going to use 40-pound leader going to the fish's mouth, why am I using 80-pound anything, right? I mean, the part going to the fish's, and that's actually the 40-pound. There's the 80-pound. If the part that is going to interface with the fish is 40-pound, then that would be the most likely place I'm going to break if I have a fish on, right? Because they have the sandpaper mouths and stuff like that. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, and I'll grab one of these non-offset circle hooks to demonstrate. So the fish, depending on how long you let the fish chew on it. So what happens, you got your bait on here, your fish takes it in, and they're going to start backing through. They're going to start crunching and munching and stuff. And when they're doing that, that's when you get to worry about the abrasion from the mouth, and also when it starts to swim off and you put tension on and the hook comes out. So while you're fighting the fish, the entire time you're fighting the fish, once he's actually got the hook part in him, in theory, the line is completely clear of the fish because the hook is what got him. Crypto Billy, see, you're not, that's the thing. We'll go into that. Hey, Jay. Well, some people do use nets, and that's, if it's legal in your area, that's fine. And I lied, that is an offset hook. Gosh, dog it. Oh, well, nobody asked me. Throwing nets is fun. You can catch 100 fish at once. You can, if you're fishing for, you can definitely, I don't think you're talking about cast nets because that would be shad that you're catching or something. And boy, your arm gets tired real quick. SoCal Outdoors. So you would say a standard jig has caught more bass than any other bait, including soft plastics. Because the worm has been around. Are you just talking about it for yourself? The Cinco is the number 2. Cinco falls under the soft plastic category in my opinion. And the Cinco, man, that was an oddity when it came out. Everybody, you need this action, you need that action. Here's a stick. Granted, it flutters and whatever, but it's a stick. Leave it there. Salt shaker. Salt shaker, huh? A little salt shaker for you. Love you, Cindy. Hey, Jim Peacock, welcome in. That is Cindy and I do that to each other on live streams, make the other one do things that, yeah, anyway. I mean, she started it. So there's that. So while the Mortician's rig was absolutely successful for what it was, in many cases I got part of the rig back as opposed to none of the rig back. Is it doing what I need it to do? Why do I have an 80-pound main section of leader if what interfaces with the fish is 40 pounds? I mean, I could, use 80 and 60, but the idea, at least from where this all started, was looking at the Pompano rig, which then took you to the Kentucky rig, which is kind of the same thing. But for the Pompano rigs in Florida, typically they'll use say a 20 or 30 pound braid coming down, and then a 15 or 20 mono. Either the mono is the same strength as the braid or lower, but that's rated strength. And anyway, we won't go there. Yes, turnabout is in fact fair play. So while the Mortician's rig was absolutely successful in, not sliding, the knots were not sliding. It did what it was supposed to do in most cases. If I'm going to be using if I'm going to use heavier line going to the fish's mouth than anywhere else, then if I get hung up, I'm going to lose the whole rig. Unless maybe you think, well, take 40 pound, because that's about, I don't want to go higher than 40 pound mono on my main line. Slap it on the swivel, put a 40 pound main leader down. And the reason I went to 80 I could have actually gone to 60 is because those figure 8 knots that make it the mortician's rig so that, you can run the snoods off of it. That weakens that line. So a 40 pound would not be as strong as 40 pound without those knots in it, because knots weaken line. It's that simple. And I've tested it. I've got my tester right there. You can see it. See the scale portion of it right there. So that's why I went with a heavier, and I don't know. I think I went with 80 pound because I read it somewhere that 80 pound. Yeah, 80 pound. So anyway, so you run 40 pound down to your swivel, and then 40 pound off of that for the main part of the mortician's rig, and then run heavier snoods off of it. Then in theory, you could still break off your sinker and get your hooks back. But if your hook gets snagged, you're stuck. But the heavier weight line on the hooks itself, that will help you with the abrasion resistance that you need from the catfish's mouth. So there's a difference. So your Pompano rigs, that's a saltwater thing, used in surf casting for the most part. That's where I know from. There is no cover. The cover is the structure, and the structure is sand. So while you're rubbing against wet sand, which is really not that terribly abrasive when it comes down to it, that's the only thing your line is susceptible to damage from. And the teeth of the fish that you're going after. Pompano, no. Redfish, no. Black drum, no. Sheepshead, now they got some chompers. If you've never seen a sheepshead, they have human-like teeth, and not just the front row. Then they've got like multiple rows behind them. Like that one kid in grade school that never pulled his tooth, so that he had like one came in behind it or in front of it. Yeah, well, these have, yeah. Anyway, interesting. Hey, Matthew Adventures, good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming in. And so that leads me to, am I doing it wrong? And part of it is I wanted to modify a saltwater rig for freshwater use, because when we're fishing for catfish, we're going to get in snags because that's where the catfish are. Or in my case, because where I casted, there just happened to be snags. It happens. Just happens. Okay. So do I need to rethink the rig is my next question. Now, if you use a traditional Carolina rig or a 3-way rig. So with a 3-way rig, you've got your 3-way swivel, main line, hook, sinker. Your sinker is going to be lighter weight than your main line or your hook leader, because again, your sinker's technically, in theory, the most likely thing to get hung up, and you'd rather lose it than your hooks. Or you'd rather lose it instead of it and your hook, right? And lead is getting expensive, believe it or not. Hooks are getting expensive too. That's a whole other thing. So a lot of it comes down to, are you buying inexpensive hooks? If so, then you don't feel so bad when you lose them, except you have to tie it on the rig. But are you using expensive hooks? And if you are, then the sinker is cheaper than your hooks. So there you go. So having said all of that, I've used a lot of words. Oh yeah. I still laugh at this. I need to go look at my order and figure out what I ordered, because it doesn't show a size on here. What in the effing bleep was I thinking? So these are ADOT. This is an ADOT Eagle Claw. Yeah. 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 So maybe I was thinking I wanted to try towing other trucks with a hook. I don't know. I'm going to assume that this was at least a 12-aught, if not a 14-aught. And unfortunately, they are offset, so I can't use them for shark fishing because that seems like the most logical place, most logical thing to do with it. And I apologize because I would have thought, look up here, look over there. Nope, don't see them. So the problem is I clean off my desk every now and then, and I forget what my most recent pile of stuff was that I cleaned off, because that's the most likely place for what I'm looking for, which actually is going to be my three-way swivels. They're not here. We're going to see if I did the right thing and put them where I'm supposed to. That'll be a miracle. Swivel, 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 swivel. Okay, so now, next question is, did I push them off my desk somewhere? No. Well, there you go, folks. That's what happens when you're disorganized. So, I put them in here. Where I got sinker slides and beads, yay. And apparently lots of other stuff. That's chatterbaits and crap. Okay, so if they're not in there, oh yeah, this feels heavy. This feels like it could have been the last place I threw stuff. And yep, this is the last place I threw stuff. And there they are. I knew I could do it. If you didn't know I could do it, that's because you just don't have enough faith. Oh, look, there's some more hooks, which doesn't surprise me at all. So, apologize for that break in fun. Let's see. That is a big... See, the problem is, in Florida, I can't use those for sharks. And what else would I use them for? I really don't know what I got them for. Hey, Catfish with us. Or Catfish with us. How you doing? That should be Miss V, if I remember correctly. How you doing, dear? And if it is Miss V, even if it's not Miss V made that. A wood burning, oh, it's amazing. Beautiful. It's almost as beautiful as I am. Now that's an insult to the art. I apologize. Everything's more beautiful than I am. So, having said all the fun stuff that I've said, I think I want to try some three-ways tonight. And having said that, the next thing I should have done, let me go grab some baggies real quick. Oh, that's way too many. Well, I won't run out. So there's my baggies. These are 3x5 inch plastic baggies, 4 mil thick, because that's the way I like them. Because 2 mil is not thick enough. And there were some that I got that were like 3.2 mil that I thought might make it. They did not. They were bad. They were absolutely bad. Horrible, horrible. Okay, so I like to write on these when I'm using. So in this case, we'll make it a 3-way. I'll use 80-pound and they're offset hooks. So 3-way, 80-pound, and then the O for offset hook. The other designation is S for saltwater, which just means it's an inline hook, not an offset. So why not use an I? I don't know. I made my system, but I'm not very smart. So we'll pour some of these out. And these are interesting swivels. So there are 3 ways, but what's interesting about them is this one is actually a little smaller than the top and bottom pieces. And so clearly you want the sinker going off the side on these. A lot of people want the hook going off the bottom. I've always liked the side for the sinker, but that's been me. Oh yeah, the side hook size. That's the other thing I put on there. These are going to be 8/0. I knew I was missing something. So 8/0. See, here we go. And then once I get these in the bags, then I tend to put them either in one of the pencil pouches or a quart or gallon size Ziploc bag. That way I kind of keep them sorted by the type that they are. So I know if I want one of these, you know, they're all in that one bag as opposed to having a bunch of different things in there and having to dig through. So since I have 80-pound out here, that seems like the first logical thing to do. So I have a problem. I have many problems. You're not a therapist, so I don't expect you to understand. One of them is I always kept my leaders too long, right? So one of the things I started doing is it's still the no knot snell or the egg loop knot in this case because this is so wiry. But I kind of start in reverse order. So I come through the back of the hook and I pull off what I think I want. And that stays attached to the spool, which it really doesn't need to, but oh well. And then we'll go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wraps. And then I'll go back out through the back towards the front, just about 1 inch or 2. And I'll do 4 more wraps. And this makes the egg loop knot. And 2 purposes of this. One is it's much harder to capture the tag end with the egg loop portion and then have a little loop that contains just that. The other thing is, you know, I now know kind of how long my leader is supposed to be or going to be. And once I pull it tight, I can actually snip this off right there. Close. I don't need a longer tag in like you need with the no knot snell because it can kind of come loose. Hey, Lance. Hey, Roquette Stack. How you doing, John? Okay, so take the 80-pound piece. I'm going to use a trilene knot because I like it and because I don't have any crimps that are the right size for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back through here, and of course, as wiry as this is, it's going to make it a fun little experiment. And hey, let me undo that right off the bat and give myself a much longer tag in here to work with as I tie the main knot. And so you get the loop. This creates the next loop. Hold that. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I may have gotten more than 5 there. I tend to count too fast. So I've been trying to. Okay, so when it cinches up, you want to make sure that it's not folded over like it was going to be the first time. Grab with the pliers. And pull it up kind of snug. You can get a hot tui that thing. And grab a couple of rig pullers here. I got these off of Amazon. They are great. I don't think I put them in my Amazon storefront yet, but I do have a link in the description for my Amazon storefront. You don't even have to buy anything that's in my storefront. You can buy anything off of Amazon. It doesn't cost you a penny more, but it earns me a small commission. Okay. I got to quit being a weakling. I'm also scared of this breaking and the hook coming flying to my face. Anyway, sometimes the knot just doesn't want to come down very well. You just kind of push it down with your fingers. And that only happens with the thicker line. Go back here. Now we'll give her another pull. Come on. Lord. So that happened. Well, apparently I pulled it tight enough. And the only thing that went flying to my knowledge was the 30-pound spool of mono. Now the downside is I need to cut this off because if it were no knot snow, I could just push it back through and be done with it. See if I can do this without cutting my fingers off. Turns out I can. Yay me. So, like I said, one of the things I found out from my light. Knock my light off. Oh no, not my light. Not my light. Now we can't have a party. Yeah, okay. Is that I wasn't cinching my knots tight enough because you put them on the rig puller and you start pulling stuff and yeah. Anyway. So we're going to start this again. Let's see. Everybody's saying hi to each other. Always awesome. There, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish. And yes, the egg loop knot for many people is going to be overkill, and I get that, but you know, I learned something new and I wanted to play with it. Cindy's going to make me pay for saying that. So we'll pull that tight. Catfish rig, yes, Red River Outdoors. That is the plan. We're gonna right now I'm tying 3-way rigs because it seems like fun. I mean, until it breaks and stuff goes flying everywhere, but that's, stuff happens. So do the trilene knot here. A little extra tag in that I need. Let's move this up a little bit. Move this up all. I'm pulling the wrong thing. There we go. There. Yeah, you pull it right in, Mike, and things happen. All right. We go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you tie the knot, if it does this like it's doing to me, you just kind of want to wiggle this around so that when you're pulling, it's not doubled over. And it's still doing it. So back it down just a little bit. And what we can do is we can slide those twists a little higher. And then try to pull it and see if that will make those come straight. Yeah, there we go. All right. So lube up the knot and then we'll get the other puller against it. There, it's starting to cinch. And let me just try. So my goal here is not to squeeze the line, but rather to just kind of pull the twist up a little bit more. I get one more pull on that to try to cinch it down a little better. Okay, now I'll leave a little bit of extra tag in. And what I like to do when I have extra tag in like that is just kind of bend it through the eye of the swivel. just kind of capture it a little better so it doesn't snag on things. And then I will grab my 30-pound mono. Like I said, I'm going to be using a 40-pound main line. So that's why I'm going with 30-pound for the sinker. So you want the sinker to be a little longer than the hook. And the reason for that is aerodynamics as they fly, so it doesn't do the big helicopter thing as it flies through the sky. So in this case, I'll keep the line tied onto the spool until I've got this knot all set and done. Hey, 310 man Ruth. Yes, it is a hook. There's V. Why are you humbled? I mean, that is some fantastic artwork. I can't be more impressed. Even went to y'all's channel to see if you had a PayPal link or something because I felt bad about. I mean, I won it, and I realized it's a giveaway, and you weren't wanting payment for it, but at least give you back the $20 in shipping you had to pay. That was ridiculous. I mean, it is the postal service, but I feel bad that you had to pay that kind of money to ship me something for free. And then what I do on here, folks, I just tie a double. Well, it's actually a surgeon's loop. You loop the double line over and then make an overhand knot that goes through the center twice instead of once. And you make that fairly large. And the idea for this is that you can then put it through the eye of your sinker, assuming you're using a sinker with an eye, and then so you double it over and put it through the eye of the sinker, then you put the sinker back through the loop itself, and that gives you a cow hitch knot. And that will keep your sinker in place and also allow you to change it if you want to. So when all is said and done, see, I'm a little longer. Probably could have gone a little longer than that, but oh well. Well, I understand you do it because you love to, but there are still costs involved, and they shouldn't, I mean, so I asked Miss B, I'm very, if she does it, if she sells them, and she says she does not sell them, which made it very difficult to talk about them because, you want to go, y'all won't, if y'all want those, go contact her. But then, if she doesn't do it as a business, you're like, well, don't bug the nice lady. I was fortunate and blessed, but that doesn't mean you get to be too. Just saying. Let's see. I thought I had another hook laying over here. Yeah. That's why I'm not paid to think, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. So we're going to do another 3-way rig here. And I always make my leaders too long. I know I do. And somewhere around there is probably at least 8. I don't have a good excuse for it. It's one of those things that once I get it out of the package and I go, why do I have a 17-foot leader? Then, you start thinking that maybe, you've gone a little overboard. Because you just don't want it to be too short. You guys know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Don't want anybody looking at your leader and going, man, you got a short leader. What are you saying? Is that really, that it looks like a lot, and then I'm going, well, I got to tie a knot in this thing, and that's going to take up some of that line. Catfishing, you've been fishing. That is good. That is what we do in this world. I hope that you had just the most amazing luck, or results, I should say. I go fishing for luck. I haven't caught any yet, but I'm one day. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Wicked Weasel, welcome in, my friend. Glad to have you in. Hope that the world is treating you better than you deserve. No one wants to be treated just as good as they deserve, right? That wouldn't be fun. One day they're going to come out with some study that says that, you know, we're all getting cancer because we licked too much mono in our lives. That knot cinched down nicely and easily and a little scarily. So again, I like to, if I can, I like to just run the tag in through the eye, and then I want to snip it off just as close to that eye as I can. So through the top of the eye, right? And hopefully once I get this cut off, I'll show it to you, but it's a swivel and it keeps swiveling on me. Don't you hate it when that happens? I should name them something else so they don't swivel as much. So I still have a good tag end. Tag end comes out the top here, actually on my side. But that way, if you go through grass and stuff, it's not going to snag, and it gives you a little bit extra length in case the hook point or the knot needs to settle some more. I have too much line on my desk. Here, 40-pound, you can go over there. I don't need you right now. Be good. Don't get any trouble. Then I'll run the. Make sure I did that right. Yeah. This thing, did I put it in the wrong one? So again, I tie the trilene knot because I have found through my testing that it's a really strong knot. The no knot snell, of course, is stronger, but that's not something you can tie when you're trying to tie to a swivel. I guess you could, it just wouldn't work out very well. I took the day off and chilling in the pool. Well, congratulations to you. I actually went to work today. And by went to work, I mean crawled out of bed and went to my computer in my house, which was more than I meant to do. The only reason I did that was because of multi-factor authentication. You're like, why would that have anything to do with it? Well, because I woke up, I'm like, you know, I could go back to bed for a few more hours. So let me just message my boss in Teams and go, hey, I'm taking half a day today. Now the problem is I had to go through the multi-factor authentication, and I couldn't see anything because I didn't have my glasses on, and I wasn't really awake yet. And if I was going to have to be awake, then I wasn't going to be able to go back to sleep. So it was either go to work or be a no call, no show. So given that I am not a fan of homelessness, I went ahead and logged into the work. Because I know me. There's a finite amount of energy I can expend before I have to be awake. Rolling over and talking to a phone is not necessarily that amount of energy, but past that, yeah. I'm not one of those people that can fall asleep easily. If you've ever been involved with someone who can, it makes you want to kill them. I ain't gonna lie. Dear Ashley, she sets, I'm not gonna tell you how many alarms she sets in the morning, but she has several set because she will go back to sleep and say, well, no, I'll give me, whatever till the next interval. And God bless her beautiful heart, I was ready to kill her the day after my root canal, or the day of my root, day after. It was definitely one of the two. Had to get a root canal, had a cracked tooth. And it got to where it hurt so bad. It was sad. I was crying. Okay, I wasn't crying. I was real close though. And so she could wake up and go back, and that's too short. That's why I keep it attached here. I went further than I needed to before I realized it was too short. But what else is new? that alarm kept going off, I would almost get back to sleep because that was the way to stay out of pain. And the next one goes off. God bless her. She is cute and wonderful. And yeah, I shouldn't just objectify her by saying she's cute. That's. I mean, if she weren't cute, we wouldn't be together because I wouldn't have been interested. Which is really sad because there's a lot of really good people out there that, God bless their hearts, just ain't the most beautiful. Which explains where we get ugly kids from. But anyway, everybody fine. How did I mess that up? I don't know. So remember I talked. Oh, I put it over the hook. So remember I talked about you get that one loop, and that most of the time what I'm doing here saves you from that. Well, it didn't save me this time. So what you do, you cut it off, and you just push that tag in through that last little loop. So you're actually, it's a real loop as opposed to just looping it around only. It's looping around the hook, not just this tag end. All right. So now I'm going to set that shorter. Let's see. Hey, Nestor, what's up? What am I setting up for? Well, I am tying catfish rigs for fishing for catfish because doing catfish rigs for bluegill would not be the best idea. Making fun of me, not you. Don't worry. No, that's what I'm telling you. Hey, Heidi. I do. Thanks for so much. Do you know what? You know what I like? I like trolls. You know why I like trolls? Because bye-bye. See you on the flip side. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. See, I don't mind trolls. I love trolls. Good trolls. So trolling is an art form, people. It literally is an art form. And as someone who practices the art, when you say stupid shit like that, it really is an insult to the profession of being a troll, not an insult to me, because frankly, I'm well aware that I suck. But you didn't know that. You took a wild guess and got lucky. Friday night and camp till Saturday morning, no luck. Hey, man, I went Friday and Sunday, and see, now that one's a little longer than I wanted it to be. But, you know, stuff happens. It's not overly too long, which I guess would be, yeah, something. Anyway, so I'll run this back through here. So, Heidi, if you're still here, and you probably are because you're a narcissist, give your mom her phone back and let her know that you have been a worthless child and that I used to be pro-life and now I'm very much pro-abortion because of you. Assholes. And I don't understand why you want to go in someone's live stream just to be a complete prick. I mean, you want to see rage from me? You're not going to get rage. The disappointment that I share the earth with you, but other than that, I do like, well, you sucking troll toes. Now that's something else completely. Hey, Guildmaster, welcome in, welcome in. We are tying. I am tying. You are doing it vicariously through me. Catfish rigs. We're doing some three-way rigs because it's like a two-way rig, but longer, and I probably should not have used that as a pulling mechanism because I bent that. Let me straighten it out. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, probably not the best way to, yeah, anyway. So I've got one line going down to a hook from the sinker, and then I got another one that's going to go down to the sinker. And the big thing on my sinker loop is I want to make sure that the top of it is further down than the hook because I don't want this right here to happen where the hook can get in there and in theory grab hold of it, but I've already done it and it's not that important apparently. See, and that's, I'll tell you what, for anybody out there that's a content creator, the part of your leg of the knee. The people that, would you rather watch a tree grow or a knee expand in size? Because they want you to apparently say that out loud, even though every idiot and their idiot friends have done this over and over again, and nobody's smart enough to fall for it or dumb enough to fall for it. And yet they continue like it's funny because they think racist humor is just the bomb, I guess. But I in my I want to say it's content tab or community tab and blocked words. So in quotes, knee followed by the word grow, and then in quotes, Lamar followed by Jackson. So if you've noticed a lack of people asking stupid questions, those are the big two, right? Those, and the thing is, they're not original. I don't mind actual original, intelligent sort of trolling. I still, if you remember, you can see that one of the icons or emojis or something that you can use is actually one of the pictures that the one troll got me that night. And I'm telling you, it was beautiful. It was, he got me good. And it wasn't rude. It wasn't mean. I mean, it may have been a little mean, but I mean, all I could do was laugh. It was good. It was good. It's not like, hey, it's my cousin's birthday. Can you yell out? Can you say happy birthday to fill up my crevice? Hurt. Not that it's not funny, but once you've seen it 50,000 times, it's not funny anymore. So, if you want to troll, just be good at it. That's all I ask. And I realize we all got to practice somewhere. And yes, I understand the people that go, the irony of you complaining about people trolling is funny. Or some might say ironic. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Isn't it too ironic? Yeah, I really do think. And the reason I know that is because it is like, and I did it again where I got that last loop. Doesn't have, well, it's an extra loop, basically. It didn't get the hook in it, just got the tag in. So snip the tag in so that we can then pull that tight. If it weren't for Alanis Morissette, I would have always thought that rain was a one-syllable word, but not to her, because it's like rain, 3 syllables in a 4-letter word. I mean, that's impressive. I don't know why stuff's so wiry. I can't get scissors close to the tag in. That's kind of funny. And then the tag in went flying somewhere. And one day I'm going to back in this room and be able to melt down all enough plastic to make a whole new roll of mono. Hey, what do I use for bait? Well, that is a magical question. It depends on what we're fishing for. If I'm fishing for catfish, then something that was previously alive or currently alive. I've got some salted Asian carp. I've got some salted shrimp. I've got some Blue River Cats preserved Asian carp that's soaked in some sort of oil. And then, of course, frozen skipjack, frozen Asian carp parts, and bluegill, and stuff like that. It's so interesting because I watch a lot of my catfish brethren, friends, etc., and these people will literally be out catfishing, and then somebody comes into the stream and says, "Hey, have you ever tried chicken liver? Or you should try chicken liver." Like, everybody and their brother has used chicken liver. Um, chicken liver works better in ponds or with stocked catfish, places that you're trying to use a natural bait for the habitat they're in. And I don't know how many chicken livers you see fall into most lakes and rivers, but I don't see that happening. And the other problem is, and as a kid, I mean, I used this, that's what I used. That was my bait of choice, was chicken liver. But as I've gotten older and understand the risks of salmonella more and just don't like being filthy, chicken liver's not my favorite at all. So anything stinky works with channel catfish. So channel catfish, um, depending on where you live in the country, in the South, if you catch a 10-pounder, you've caught a big one. Now they get 30 plus pounds up north because I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess that probably because there's not blue cats and flatheads around to eat them before they get that big. And channel catfish are much more of a scavenger feeder, for lack of a better way of putting it. When people talk about, oh, fish on the bottom, catfish eat, all they do is eat dead stuff. Well, that's typical for channel catfish, although channel catfish will eat a lot of stuff. Pacific Northwest near Richland, Washington, Yakima, Washington. Okay, so Nestor, if you have any interest whatsoever in saltwater fishing, crabbing, that kind of stuff, look up a couple of channels, Reef Robber and Hitch by Hitch. They are both up in Oregon, actually, but they fish saltwater. Reef Robber more so than Hitch. Goes out, does more videos than Hitch, I guess would be a better way of putting it. He does a lot of crabbing, but he'll also go after lingcod and salmon and stuff. And Hitch is more towards salmon and stuff, I think. There's Weed Hopper. He's up there somewhere around there as well. There's Oregon Outdoor Adventures, I believe. Is the name of his channel. He does other fishing up there. In Washington State, there is somebody help me. What's her name? Everybody, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. The one with the Barbie dolls that shows for her granddaughter. Why can't I think of her name off the top of my head? Sorry, brain fart of old age. And yes, you can absolutely catch. Yes, you can catch channel cats on live bait as well. Absolutely. It's just that if you're going to be using, what I'm trying to say is the dead stinky stuff is more of a channel cat thing. I hope I phrase that better. But yeah, I mean, you know, channel catfish also will eat minnows and bluegill and lots of other stuff. It's just that your blue cats typically are not the scavengers that channel cats are. If you're fishing for blue cats, you want fresh bait. You want something that died weeks ago. Plunking. Plunking. Marcus used your, I don't know what that says, bait to catch a couple of crabs this weekend at a party. I'm going to guess that was possibly, I can't tell what that icon is. I'm going to guess it's half chance it's a sexual reference and nobody wants to catch those kind of crabs. Although, you know, I mean, I ain't going to say that we don't joke about that all the time in other channels. You used your shrimp bait. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Which again could also be, but you know, anyway. Yeah, and crabs, if you fish saltwater, crabs are a thing. They are, talk about scavengers. Those are some scavengers. They will torment you between pinfish and crabs. For those who don't know, pinfish are kind of like the bluegill of saltwater, except worse. Those things will, like, I can put out shrimp as bait, and those things will just peck it. And for some, I can use the size. I think it's a size 4. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Sabiki rig. I mean, I guess I'm doing better if I'm breaking off 80-pound mono. And that one was, I don't know. I'm not sure where the hook went. Give me a second. I'm going to go pick my phone up off the floor because that was part of what flew. I'm not going to tell you how messy my office is, because that's why I can't find the hook. It's over there somewhere. When I set in the River Cat tackle strength, one of the 10-ounce went flying that way somewhere. Anyway, it happens. But either my mono was going bad or I'm no longer a 50-pound weakling. Because I did learn very quickly that I do not cinch my knots tight enough. And now I'm going, ooh, look, Hulkamania. So, back to the drawing board on that one. I'd rather break in here than out on the water anyway, right? Yeah, crabs, they are amazing scavengers. They're very efficient. Yep, they will steal your bait. So pinfish, God bless them. Like I say, they're like bluegill, except you know how if you've ever gone bass fishing and you have bluegill just pecking the crap out of your bait, pinfish are like that but worse. And like I say, we use a size 4 sabiki rig. That does not mean it has size hooks. It means it has like minuscule hooks. And somehow they could still peck the bait off of that. And it's like, look, guys, I don't mind y'all coming up and playing. Y'all can be bait too. I do like catching pinfish for bait. And Ashley likes catching pinfish off the dock, which is great because I'll be fishing, or I'll have baits out there soaking. Would be a better way of putting it. And she'll drop the sabiki rig right off the side of the dock. And I'll tell you, those sabiki rigs, even, you know, they're supposed to have, they're made with fish skin, with just a little tiny piece of it. You pretty much have to tip them with shrimp or something. And I am impressed at the efficiency and effectiveness of pinfish. They can absolutely clean a hook. Well, now that's not really true. Rainbow trout are not easy. I guess if you're good at it and you know how they work, then yes. But there are a lot of people out there that struggle to catch rainbow trout or struggle to catch this, that, or the other. I mean, see them. Now I'm gun shy on these because I don't want to keep retying and retying and retying. Man, if I'm doing that with 80-pound mono, I don't want to brag. I'm a stud muffin. 80-pound mono is not easy to break. So, like in this area, during the winter, the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency will actually stock rainbow trout in some of the local park lakes, but they cannot survive the summer heat here. F me. Okay. Fortunately, that broke because of the jaws of the pliers. So it didn't. The rig is still solid at this point. But we're going to call that cinched at this point too. So they can't survive the summer heat. So they drop in a bunch of 8 to 10-inch rainbows. And I bought the trout license 1 year so I could catch them, and I caught some, and I ate some. I was like, no, thank you. This wasn't my cup of fish. Okay, so my 30-pound went flying across the room. There's one of these here. As I almost fell out of my chair. That other way. Nope, that's not it. But is that what I think it is? Come here, Skeeter. Come here. Oh no. No, it's not. These are actually different hooks. I thought I'd accidentally found that River Cat's tackle hook that I shot across the room. Okay. It's pretty bad when you can lose a spool of mono. It was from one of the hits flying that way. Give me a second. This can't be happening. It's probably sitting on my desk somewhere and I'm just too stupid to see it. Not over there. Not over there. Yeah, there's a way around everything. Let's see what this is before I get too bent out of shape. 60-pound, don't want to use that for the sinkers. Just there. What's this? There. That's 20-pound. That'll work. Actually, I don't want to go as low as 20 because that's not going to take a loft pole. I'm bumfuzzled. That's okay. We'll switch gears. I'll just make partial rigs for now until I unless it went past behind the other desk that's sitting there. I can't. Not behind there. That when you can lose a spool of mono, maybe it's time to clean your room. I'm just saying. Like I say, rainbow trout was not something that I enjoyed fishing for, and didn't enjoy eating them. And if they're stocked like that, then the purpose of them being there is to be caught and eaten, or they're just going to become food for something else, which is also very, very probable. I mean, I'm not upset that they stock them knowing that they're going to die. Plus, they sell trout stamps, and trout stamps are supposed to, pay for the stocking efforts and all that. So we do have, like, going over to East Tennessee, they have mountains over there, and they've got areas where trout can naturally reproduce and survive. And if you go over into Arkansas, they've got some areas over there that they can as well. Well, part of me is a little frustrated that I only got one good troll. Well, not good troll. I only got one to zap off the channel today. And I mean, I don't enjoy zapping people off, because if they would behave, there wouldn't be an issue. But I see some of my buddies out there. They half their live stream is devoted to swatting trolls. And it's frustrating to them. I absolutely understand why. It's like, I'm trying to do something here. I'm not going to say it's the world's greatest content, but I don't understand why people just want to intentionally come and disrupt. See, the way I see my trolling, maybe not the way everybody sees my trolling, and that's okay, is, I'm trying to add humor. I'm trying to add engagement. Trying to have a good time, but not at the expense of others. Not at the expense of other people enjoying the live stream, That one just doesn't want to slide. There's my knot. I just want it to slide down a little more. But it's done what it's going to do, and I've already broken off enough line and sent things flying across the room. So I'll just leave it with the extra long tag, and that should be good to go. Give me a second. I've still got it. I'm not knowing where that 30-pound line is bothering me. Unless I just really whacked it a long, long way. Oh, well. It is what it is. Yuck, yuck, yuck. So since I have 40-pound on the main portion, it's going to be my standing line, my main line anyway. I can use 40-pound going down to the sinker. And what I will do is just not use as good of a knot. So I'll just use a basic clinch knot. I'll do 4 wraps instead of 5. And that way we can expect that knot will actually fail. Because the clinch knot is not as strong of a knot as the trilene knot, or the uni knot, or the polymer knot, or the improved clinch knot, or the San Diego jam knot. Sometimes I don't think it's as strong as a granny knot. If you use the clinch knot, stop it. Unless you're doing it for the exact purpose I am right now, which is I need a weak knot. Because it really is a sucky knot. And the improved clinch knot is literally just tucking the line under the loop that's created. But when you start, so yeah, there's no reason to ever use clinch knot other than what I'm doing. So do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, there you go. And I'll go back to talking about the mortician's rig again, because I'm not done with it by any stretch. I just have to figure out if I designed it wrong for the way I'm designing it for my purposes if it's wrong, because if I've got 40 pound going to the hook and an 80 pound main part of the leader, then I'm putting my weak part towards the fish, and I don't want to do that. Now, hello, I'm a Mexican. Ragnar, I am. Thank you for asking. I've been waiting for ice to show up and cool me off. Because if ever there were an intelligent question to be asked in a live chat from a guy that's freaking white and bald as I am, is, are you Mexican? Now, granted, there are a lot of Hispanics that are not dark skinned, and I do have blue eyes, so maybe, I don't know. You're looking to get a job with ICE. Well, that's the thing. Why do you want a job with ICE? It's, I would rather them just stop people at the border before they get across than have such lax and horrible policies that allow the folks to come here illegally to begin with, and then have to try to deport them later, because that just doesn't seem like the right way to do it. You want to deport Mexicans because you were raised racist first amendment. So let's break that down, because that you have added a lot of very interesting stuff here. So, as someone who was raised in a small town in Tennessee, my parents did not raise me to be racist, but the community sure as hell did. Of course, when I was being raised, or when I was growing up, there were no Hispanics. I could not. I can't think of anybody in my school system that was Hispanic, unless it was a foreign exchange student. I mean, really, our town was mostly white, and the other segment of population was black. That's really how it went. So, but we are a product of our upbringing, and we can, in fact, overcome our upbringing. So I would encourage you that if you were raised racist, that maybe you work on overcoming that upbringing. Now, then you said First Amendment, and that one is the one that I love more than anything. And are you saying that you're allowed to say that you're racist and that you want to deport illegal? And actually, you didn't say they had to be illegal. You just want to deport Mexicans. Are you saying that the First Amendment gives you a right to say whatever the hell you want to say, and that nobody can do anything about it? Because if you read the First Amendment, and I'm going to guess that someone in your family has enough crayons to sharpen so that they can, explain it to you, right? Actually, see, Ragnar, let me help you out. What that tells me is that you're a dumbass. And the reason I know you're a dumbass, other than all the things that you said, is the First Amendment does not give you the right to be a racist piece of shit. The First Amendment doesn't mean you can come on YouTube and spew your nonsense. It doesn't mean that you can walk into a crowded room and scream fire when there's no fire. There are limitations, my friend, and the limitations about the fire is completely different than the one on YouTube or Facebook or anywhere else, lies, social, however you want to do it. The First Amendment says the government shall not infringe. The government. And I got news for you. I'm not the government. Facebook, YouTube, etc., not the government. So if you think that you somehow have some God-given right, or government-given right in this particular case, to come in here and be a racist piece of shit, you don't. And frankly, the only reason you're still here is because you're funny. I find it humorous that you are this fucking stupid. I mean, I can tell that it sounds like you are a product of the failed American education system who should have taught you in grade school what the hell the First Amendment actually means. You didn't say anything racist. You want to deport Mexicans, saying I'm a racist, saying racist words. Um, oh, so like making terroristic threats doesn't make you a terrorist. Is that what you're going for? Saying that you're a racist and saying racist words, two different things. You know who uses racist words? Racists. So the First Amendment doesn't give you a right to go on social media and be a complete wanker. That's the technical term. Jackass is the less technical term. Uh, Racism is absolutely illegal, Ragnar. I don't know if I don't know where you I don't know how you were raised, where you were raised, what barn you were raised in, sir. Um, did you know that it is illegal to discriminate against someone based upon their race if you're leasing a house, selling a house? If you are an employer, you can't not hire someone on the basis of, well, I don't like them because they got the wrong color. Did you know that? It, I mean, I get it. Mark, oh, you're from San Francisco, and I got to tell you how this shit works, brother. You are from the land of fruits and nuts, um, mostly nuts, aside from the pear that's in your mouth at the moment. Um, if you were actually from San Francisco, you would have been raised about as liberal as they get, because San Francisco is part of that weird state over there. So you're trolling. You're not even good at it. You're saying stupid shit because the best I can tell, you're just stupid. Discrimination. So hang on. Racism would be the part of that discrimination, wouldn't it? I mean, what else would you call it if you refuse to sell your house to someone because they're black? Would you not call that racism? That's what I would call it. Um, and you know, the great thing about YouTube, and this is what I really like, folks, is all of you nice people out there, y'all can click the comments Ragnar's making, any of them that you think are offensive, and you can click report, and you can report him to YouTube, and talk about it being whatever hate speech. And what they will do when they get enough reports is they will block his ass permanently. Ragnar, I didn't say you were a liberal, sir, ma'am, it, whatever your pronoun is. I'm thinking shithead is the most appropriate pronoun for you. I did not say that you were a liberal. What I said was that area is extremely liberal. And so you're not going to be able to go through the public education system over there, assuming that you were ever attempted, that there was any attempt to educate you in your life. And see, now you've got me tying a trilene knot when I'm supposed to be tying a little weak ass clinch knot. You're going to be exposed to liberal ideology, just like growing up in a small backwards ass town where I grew up was going to, expose you to people who are racist and a conservative mentality that the people who are actually on government assistance keep voting for Republicans to take away their government assistance because I'm telling you, some people just ain't smart. What kind of fish do you catch? I really doubt that you fish. And as I understand it, California is not a really great place to go fishing because the rod limit and stuff like that. You're probably a bass fisherman. That would explain a lot of this conversation that we're having. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what your purpose in being here was. I had a little fun with you, and I think. Okay, so you don't know the difference between I and you. That tells me you're not even in San Francisco. You're in a different country being an absolute ass. So let's see what we can do here. Bye 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 bye. See you later, dipshit. Actually, I won't see you later. That's just, you're hidden from channel for the rest of your fucking life. Miserable existence, I would say. So, hope your mom stops procreating. Hope you don't procreate. I mean, I don't really have to worry about that. You're in mom's basement, I'm sure. So, it's hard to get a girl to go home with you when you, let's go back to my mom's basement. So, there you go. You were not fun while you lasted, but at least I got to play whack-a-mole with a dumbass. I actually don't enjoy playing whack-a-mole with a dumbass, but hoping other people were kind enough to report you to YouTube so that your channel gets, or so that your existence gets removed from YouTube permanently, and then you just go create another account and be a jackass again, because you never learn. But after enough times of getting your shit kicked out the damn door, perhaps you will assimilate with the rest of the population and behave. And I don't think I have to worry about you getting a job with ICE or a job ever in your life, because you don't seem like someone who actually has enough intelligence to be able to get to a job. And then there's the other thing of, you can't really work in a manual labor job because your hands hurt all the time from your knuckles dragging the ground so hard. It's kind of interesting. Locally, we had I think it was a weatherman. I'm probably wrong on that. It doesn't matter. I'm wrong on lots of things. They got fired because he was talking about a different sports team and called somebody on the team a knuckle dragger. And boy, everybody got, well, not everybody, enough people got mad saying that's racist. I'm like, the knuckle dragger, that's Neanderthal. That has nothing to do with race. That's just, yeah. Anyway, so what's the sticker wall about? I don't know if someone asked. Well, if they didn't, hey, Ghostface, welcome in. So the sticker board. So smarter people on YouTube, so not me, will create stickers. And they give them off Sticker Mule or other places. And it's a way to promote their channels. And they send those to subscribers or people who win drawings on their channels and stuff. And so these are other channels. Well, actually, none of them are channels. I mean, Rivercats Tackle actually technically is a channel, but they are a provider of various types of tackle. Hooks is their main focus right now, but they also came out with a rod. They're coming out with a reel, and I don't know what else they're coming out with. They've got some interesting floats and rattles and stuff. So if you want to check them out, www.rivercatstackle.com. I got DMV Whisker King. He's up in the DC area. He hadn't been around much lately. I don't know what's going on with him, but I'm sure he'll pop back up. The Skipjack Cindy, she's over in East Tennessee. Lovely lady. That's her again. No BS Catfishing is her other half. Oh, there's another Skipjack Cindy. No, they've been no BS. So they're a couple out in East Tennessee, and they go fishing a lot. You got the Reef Robber. Otter Cat, he doesn't actually have a channel, but everybody kept trying to push people to subscribe to him. It was kind of like the running joke. So somebody went out there and bought stickers for him. That's an Otter Cat. Let's see. Those are not about those are actual channels. Hitch by Hitch. Hitch by Hitch. Stop Hitch. Hitch by Hitch. Earl Has Crabs. That's Reef Robber. Yak Shore, he's out of, I think it's East Tennessee. There's Bassin with Big Malone. There's Woody's Trapping. There's another Hitch by Hitch. There is Beyond the Hook. Thurman Outdoors, another Rivercats Tackle. We got Barbie in Oregon, another Barbie in Oregon, and Pound to Pounder. They are a couple out in Oregon. Do a lot of, what do they call that? I would call it foraging, looking for stuff on the sand or very, very, very shallow water, like ankle deep stuff, clams and such. Let's see where we got here. Jamaican Shore Fishing down in Jamaica. Seago Outdoors, he's out in Oklahoma. Sandy Toes, she doesn't actually, well, she does have a channel, and she does sometimes fish. She's out in Australia. Everybody loves her. Team Black Diamond is from a long time ago. I don't know. Oh, there's another No BS Catfishing with Travis. Mike's Fishing Home. He's a guy out of Springfield, Illinois. Um, he used to do live streams almost every night. Felt like it at least. Get a couple of Four Locos into the evening, and everybody was having a good time. He used to have different people up on panel. He's kind of gone quiet. He does a live stream every now and then, but not like he used to. Bank Fishing Adventures, Fun Fishing Adventures, Rods Fishing Adventures, and Sunday Night Bites. So, Scotty, Bank Fishing Adventures, he's out of kind of central Missouri. Rods Fishing Adventures is out of Illinois, up north of St. Louis. Bank Fishing Adventures, that's Stacy. He's out of somewhere in Indiana. And Fun Fishing Adventures and Bank Fishing Adventures on Sundays have Sunday Night Bites. We got PNW Lip Rippers for anybody up in the Pacific Northwest. We've got, let's see, Mo Pound. I talked about Mo Dog. That's him. Has another Mo Dog. Half another Mo Dog. My Style Baits. Carter's Custom Lures. Burrito Catfish Lady and Randy Swain. Those are our old gray hair. They are a married couple out of East Tennessee. Boring Fisherman and Queen Hess. They are a married couple out of North Carolina. Is that another Skip Dixon? It is. First Light Fishing Company. So they are a company. I ordered some of these Danco Ultimate Braids. I love these things. I was starting to run out of having them literally everywhere I turned when I moved around my house. So I went to go order some more off of Danco's site, and they were out of stock. And they were $3.99, which I think they were less last time I bought them, which I buy them a whole lot. And so I looked around because I was afraid that with the tariffs and everything that maybe they were not going to have any more ever again. And I love these things. I love them. And let me tell you why I love them. So they cut braid, which not every pair of scissors are cut braid, and the mono and stuff. So that's the back half. That's the cutter. Then you got kind of a flat grippy, like flat pliers. And you got the serrated kind of plier piece. I don't use this for that, but it also comes with this split ring thing. And like I say, they're $3 or $4 a pair. So I went Googling around. First Light Outdoors had some for $2.99 a pair. And so I ordered 10. That's how much I like these pliers. It's not that they wear out or anything. It's that I'm stupid and I lose stuff. I mean, during this very live stream, I lost a spool of 30-pound mono. Honest to God. Somewhere over there. So that's First Light. Angie's Fishing out of East Tennessee. She does some kayak fishing. I think she's going to do a little boat fishing and some bank fishing. Let's Fish with Shenanigans Fishing. So she does a lot of bank fishing. She's got a kayak. Oh, she just got a boat. Yeah. She's also out of East Tennessee. So Angie and Shannon sometimes fish together. And they also sometimes fish with Cindy and Travis. And Cindy and Travis fish all the freaking time. I think it went through everybody. If I missed anybody, Adventure America. That's Troy. He and Angela are out of Corpus Christi, Texas. He kind of goes around and shows the sights of wherever he's at. A lot of times it's Corpus Christi. He also fishes down there sometimes. I miss him when he goes fishing most of the time, unfortunately. There's Butterflies and Sunshine. That is Ed Evans' lovely spouse. And yeah, now I think I've caught everything. So Seago and Modog, they are kind of like bestie kayak buddies out in Oklahoma. And it was funny how they met. Seago was supposed to be doing a tournament or something, and his vehicle croaked or wasn't working. And Modog said, "Hey, you can use my truck," to a stranger. Like, "Hey, you're welcome to borrow my truck." And dude's like, "Okay, thank you for the offer, and I will do it." Sounds a little weird. And they became bestest buddies because it's like, fishermen, we try to be good to each other. Down syndrome Jesus, you noodle catfish with your girthy dong. You do. So how's it feel to catch eggs? Because let's be honest here. The only girthy dog you have is sticking in your ass. You ordered it off Amazon. I hope you use lube. But you came here. I guess you thought that was going to be funny. You're like, oh, you bet that'll be funny. I bet people think, oh my God, look how funny he is. You dumbass. See you, bitch. There we go. Now, why did any of you kill him before I had to? I expect more of you people. I do expect to hear. Okay. Okay, there we go. Hello, Ghost. Didn't see you. They're well fun fishing. You got two of them up there, big boy. Um, let's see. Everybody saying hi. Just doing this fine live stream. Where? Which one are you watching? We all want to go there. Baseball is watching. Let's see. You're watching some baseball. Enjoy stream. Watching me because you're on the phone in this live stream. That's fair. See your old sticker. I actually, Scotty, I have been really good on chat. He asked about the sticker board. I went through every dead blame bit of it. You know what I didn't do? I went through the sticker board. I did that. I was good at that. That is from Miss V over at Catfish with Us. I won that on somebody's live stream giveaway. She donated it. She made it for me. It's wood burning. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I was doing great. What's my PB bass? And that's a two-pronged question. Officially, it's 5 pounds. And I've caught a bigger one since that I didn't weigh it because I didn't want to break my PB because I caught my PB when my 1-year-old daughter was in the boat with me. And it's special to me. So, and the one that I did catch, it was probably 6-7 pounds. I caught it at the gathering last year out in East Tennessee. I had some baits out for catfishing while I was overstuffing my gullet with the wonderful barbecue that was provided. And Ashley won a rod. Now, got a reel out of the vehicle, and I think my spool of line was in with all my accoutrements over there next to the rod. So I went over there, and one of them was zinging. So I pulled it in, and it's a big honking bass. You make plastics right now, stick baits. Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't really bass fish anymore. So like I said, I was fishing for catfish. I was fishing with freshly deceased bait with a circle hook. I was not fishing for bass. And like I say, I didn't want to, now if I got one over 10 pounds, then that'd be my PB. But when you catch a fish with your daughter in the boat with you, yeah, it's hard to get it up. Anyway, ooh, look, lights. It's a party. It's a party. Hey, Tom, appreciate you dropping in. Appreciate the like and all that fun stuff. So, Scotty, I know you've had to listen to me talk about the Mortician's rig repeatedly. And I got to thinking that maybe I'm doing it wrong. I mean, I'm doing it right, and it worked exactly as it was supposed to. But I'm thinking that maybe that's a better rig for areas where I don't know what the bottom structure is and I might get hung up. Because, so I use an 80-pound main leader, 40-pound main line going to a 80-pound leader stock. And then off of there, 40-pounders for 40-pound line to 2 hooks. And then 30-pound or so to the sinker or a weak 40-pound knot. So when you get hung up, you break off the sinker or you break off the hook, you don't break off the whole rig, even though the main line is 40-pound and the hook leader is 40-pound. Now, I kind of felt like the attachment mechanism for the hook would be a little weaker than anyway. So yeah. Everything's expensive. Circle hooks are for circle hooks are for lots of fish, Tom. You catfish, anything where you want to have a set rig kind of bait. Yeah, they're not good for fishing lures and such. Hey, Bass Fishing 336. Yeah. Yep. Oh, so the guys in Florida, man, they hate sharks. They're like, they're trying to reel in a fish, and here comes a shark eating their fish, the one that they wanted to eat, and they don't like it that way. I understand. I can appreciate that. I've got one down there in Pensacola. It was an Atlantic sharp nose. I should have kept it if I would have known for sure what kind of shark it was. I probably would have. Because shark tastes good. It does. It does. It does. So Scotty, I don't know if I've seen you in Crappie Man jigs, live streams, but you also got Ruben Flores jigs that he does live streams. You got other people that tie jigs and do live streams. Anyway, like Turner has a $200 tying vise. So you got $200 in that. Of course, you got to get the accoutrements, the hackle and the chenille and this and that. And that's not horribly expensive, but there's an initial investment there. So per jig, it's not expensive, but you got the initial investment. Hey, Glacier Shark, good to see you. Good to see you. And I look at what he charges for zigs, and it looks like they're around $3 a piece, I think. And you look at $3 a jig. I can go to Walmart and I can get them cheaper than that. Well, yeah, you can get Walmart level, Walmart quality, right? And Turner pours his own jig heads, so he's got all the lead melting stuff. He also does some soft plastics, and watching him do that is interesting. Made me quickly learn I don't want to do that. And it's kind of funny that I say that I didn't already know I didn't want to do that. When I was a kid, literally like 9 years old, I worked in a soft plastics factory. In my hometown, there was a small soft plastics factory. He didn't really sell much under his own name. He made baits for other companies to package and resell. But I distinctly remember one of his sons was one of the actual injecting machines that has two buttons that you have to push so that you can activate the center button that actually brings the mold down and closes it and starts injecting. And he would sit there with his knees on both of the safety devices. I guess is what you had to do. Anyway, let's see. Well, they buy in bulk, but still, it still runs into there's still an investment there. And, pouring lead is not the safest thing in the world. It's time consuming, and you look at watching tie jigs and sitting there going, even if he made pure profit of $1 a jig, can he make 30 or 40 of them an hour? Because that's you got to make a decent amount of them to make it worth your time. Anyway. Yeah, everybody doesn't skip checks in these lives. So, on one hand, I see people that, go like, $3 a jig is ridiculous. That's a lot of money. When you look at how much, and getting into jig making is actually the entry fee is not that high. I mean, you can be in a full manufacturing business for under $1,000. That's getting all of your accoutrements and parts and pieces and a good vise, and you can be making product with under $1,000 investment, but recouping that one little jig at a time, yeah, buddy. Just not for the faint of heart. That's all I'm saying. When I was into bass fishing, I bought a jig vise and jig kit, and at that time it was about $50 20 years ago from Bass Pro Shops. It had a vise. It was not a good vise, but it was a vise, and I just use it to dress treble hooks. Treble hook in there, throw some feathers around it, wrap it up, tie it up. put a drop of something on there, be done with it. Anyway, I sure hope everybody is having a wonderful day out there, having a good evening. So anyway, back as I talk about the mortician's rig, I think that yeah, I'm looking at ways. If I've got 40-pound going into the fish's mouth, then why do I have an 80-pound main? There's a lot of thinking I have to do on that. But for those folks that use sinker slides, so I'm actually not a big sinker slide fan. I've used them before. I've used them a decent amount. And for anybody who doesn't know, this is a sinker slide. So you run your line through it, put a bead down here, put a tie knot on the swivel, and then you go down to your leader. So this works kind of like a Carolina rig, slides up and down. So problem number one I've had is I have lost multiple leads because, you know, if you pull hard enough, this is going to come loose and straighten out, which is not necessarily a bad thing because then you're losing your lead instead of the whole rig. But if you use sinker slides and you don't have these uber cheap ones like I do that break on you, one thing that you can do to kind of save yourself some headache is just tie a little loop of mono, put it on here, and then put the other end on your sinker. And then you got, that creates a weaker link in there. Because what you don't want to do is, if you're going to break off, you want to lose as little of the rig as you possibly can. Anyway, that's my yapping for the day. Let's see, I just pulled out some 9-aught hooks or 10-aught hooks, big aught hooks. I got some 5-aughts, I got some 6-aughts, I got some 7-aughts from I don't know where. And let's see. Now I'm just being curious of my own. So these are 6-aught Eagle Claws. Oh, with a 7-aught of who I don't know any of it. 7-aught is actually a little bit bigger. So there you go. A lot of times, there is no standardization on what size hooks are. The only thing you can know is in one brand, a 5-aught should be bigger than that brand's 4-aught. But a lot of times when I've gotten stuff like this, I don't know if this came off of Amazon or if it came off of Temu. I'm going to go with Temu since it doesn't stick. They come in and they're much smaller than I was expecting. Anyway, let's see. What do I want to make now? I don't know if I want to make anything. What do y'all guys want to talk about? I've done, wow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only done 7 rigs. Been live for how long? 2 hours. I've done 7 rigs. Lord have mercy on my soul. 7 rigs. 7 entire rigs. So apparently I shouldn't tie rigs for a living is what I'm hearing. Yes, and those are three-way rigs. Those weren't even the really, time-consuming ones. But I like to talk, so there is that. And let me refresh chat, just make sure I'm not missing anything, because if I am, Scotty will yell at me. Tell me I'm not reading chat. I swear the one time that I was not paying attention to chat, so I was yapping over here, and he comes in and says, he never reads chat. Love you, Scotty. Let's see, what do I make? They're going to be 80 pound. They're going to be 10-aught. They're going to be offsets. But what else? I got 3-ways, which can also be muppet rigs. You got double hook rigs. I don't know. I know what it will do. So, you've heard me tell you this many times that the T-knot is weak, and it is. And I do not suggest using the T-knot, which is how I got into the mortician rig and everything else. But if you insist on using T-knots, This is a rig board for tying T-knots. Hey, Dominic Hollix, how you doing? So the way this works is you would take your line, set spool over. Well, that doesn't help you, does it? You set spool over here. You run across just in front of these. And that's just because you're going to come back behind here. So we go back to this side of the rig. You go around all the pegs. Need a little more line. Come on. Get in here. Let off some more line so you pull around. And then you got another hook over here, which doesn't really help you on the first one, but we'll just tie a loop knot in there. And that will give us our basis for this. So to tie a T-knot, basically all you do is you just wrap these around each other. Then half turns, there's 4, 5, 6. I'll do 8. And then you take this line off the front. You run it through that little hole that you got from where you made all the twists. You immediately run this one back up to that front. And you pull these two sides off, and I swear to you, when I look at this, all I can think of, I can't. To me, it looks like a uterus with fallopian tubes come off. So you get this, and you just kind of pull it out like so. You kind of start cinching it up, hook to it, and then run it home. Okay? So you then take that loop, and there's actually supposed to be another dowel over here, which is where I normally put the other loop, because these are going to be really close together. But then you do this, and you 2, 3, 4. And actually, if you had an empty spool, you could put that over here, so it would be about equidistant to where this one is on the other side. And you could just start wrapping those up. And I actually did this. I was getting ready. I was making Pompano rigs. I was getting ready for Florida. And I had a bunch of these tied up. Nice little loops. So these, there you go. All right. And you just do them, keep doing them, keep going, just keep going. Right. And then you cut them and tie them off in rigs. And like I say, these are a little too close together, but you get the idea. But I've done that at Suffolk's 40-pound mono. Now we're going to pull out the big gun toy. So, who wants to guess at what strength these are going to break? I am going to do everybody a favor, because people use that same knot for the Kentucky rig. I am going to do you guys a solid. Give me where are my snippers? Here, snipper, snipper, snipper. Right there. Where's my snipper? Snip. Put that out of the way, because I don't want y'all to miss this. You said hi to Clyde. I don't see Clyde. Hey, Uncle Lou, how are you? You think 40 pounds is going to break at 70 pounds? Well, you are dumber than I look, sir. I'm just going to be honest with you. Oh, wait. So this was the original, just loop knot. So that there's nothing on this. This is a double or a surgeon's loop. So we're going to pull this. This will be the part that will be up against your swivel. That's how we're going to simulate this. Roll this around. And get this in here. So, try to give y'all a better view. Need 28 pounds. So this mono actually breaks at about 48, 49 pounds on its own. Just the strength of the mono. So we've got over on this end, we go into swivel, and this is your first loop. That's would have a hook on it. And we're not even going to put the hook on there and the cow hitch knot that is going to be in a bad spot. We're going to see what this goes for. So we're going to set it in units to pounds, and we're going to set it to peak so it'll save it. And let's tilt this up a little bit. Maybe y'all can read that. If you can, then congratulations. Here we go with the pull. Okay, you can see that the knot's actually pulling out. So the knot just kept pulling. So that didn't work with the crap. We got up to 18 pounds of that, but it kept pulling tighter. So those are the two that were created side by side, one after another, using the same jig. So there's that. So let's go ahead, pull this again so you can see that much of it came up in. So let's do that. Let's see if we can do it again. We'll zero it out because that's fun. It slid some more, but we're gonna overcome this. I'm telling you, we're gonna overcome. Well, see now, Uncle Lou, that's a neat thing. I don't even know what I'm doing. So we're testing the strength of a 40-pound T knot. So a T knot made with 40-pound mono, I guess would be a better way to put it. So let's zero that back out and see if we can get to something going here. $30.8. And that's one of the better tests I've done with it. It's one of the stronger tests. And that was with 8 half turns. So you can imagine with 6 half twists or half turns, how much that knot was going to slip even more. So the line itself normally breaks around 47, 48, 49 pounds, and we got under 31 pounds of strength. It's rated for 40, but we all know better than to think that it's really going to break at 40. That's the lowest it should ever break out. So even at best, we're losing almost 25% of the rated strength of the line. And I've done numerous tests, and I can tell you that that's one of the better ones. It's that bad of a knot, people. But you know, Pompano rigs are making them. That's what they make them with. Use 20-pound mono, and you know, if they're getting 15 pounds of strength out of it, they're doing well. Sad, it really is. So that type of contraption. So I actually have a video on my channel on kind of how to make it. One end, the noise maker, it's a linear actuator, screw driven, so it goes about 0.7 seconds per, or 0.7 inches per second. One of the faster ones I could find. It's got a 12-inch length of pull. Again, one of the larger ones I could find for the right price. And then it's a pull tester. Effectively kind of like a scale but you can set it to keep the highest number that it hits, which is good, because if you just use like a regular fishing scale to do this, then you would never actually see the numbers because they'd go out to zero, so it's broken. Save store, can you be a mod? Yeah, it's effective in 30 minutes. There's something weird going on with YouTube right now. So in 30 minutes, you'll be a mod. You'll be able to kick everybody out of my channel. Even though I've never seen you in here before, I have no idea who you are or what your intentions are or why you feel it's important to be a mod. But sure, let me make you a mod. Yeah, that's what I was using for the testing the river cat tackle hooks. And I've tested mono with it. I will be testing braid. I've tested various knots with it. I've done a lot of work with it. And I'm telling you, it's a little over $100 for all the parts and pieces and accoutrements to make it. But when all is said and done, I've learned a lot out of it. Anyway, you're no like that. What do you mean? Oh, you're not like that on God. Well, about that, you know, I wasn't going to trust you, but then you put on God, and that, wow. So, in giving you the ability to kick out most everybody in here from my channel, is akin to me giving you the keys to my house when I'm not home. Because you know what some real assholes do? They'll actually go in and rewatch your live stream later, or go into your comment section on your other videos and block people, and I'll have no way of knowing until I look at my block list and it's full of people. And not to say that somebody has already done that in the catfish community. Thankfully, not to me. Yeah. So, no, you don't just walk into somebody's house and ask them if you can have the keys. Being a mod is a responsibility. It's not a status symbol. Or in my case, I'm usually just modded so that I don't get timed out by other people because I have a abrasive personality. So I've been told. Maybe you noticed what an abrasive personality I have when you asked me if you could be a mod. It doesn't. Being a mod is like applying for a job. It's not what I can do for you. It's what you can do for me, right? What are you going to do that's going to make this channel better by you being a mod? What are you going to do? Block the trolls that come in here and ask to be a mod? Well, that's kind of self-sabotage. Yeah. It's also like people that come and go, hey, can I get a shout out? Did you notice what happened there? You commented in, like Uncle Luce said, hey, you know, so I said, hey, Uncle Luce said, right there, you get a shout out right off the bat. I don't know. I mean, if you really want to hear your name that bad, you call your mom a dirty word and you will hear your name. You'll hear your full Christian name loudly and repeatedly before she knocks the shit out of you. So, no, you can't be a mod. And I also will not grab my camera so you can do a Lamar Jackson edit and a whole host of other things. And I apologize for being rude to you because you do sound like a child. And I don't want to be mean to today's youth because they are the future and you will be paying my Social Security as I get older. But there is some decorum to be had. And when I have to give advice on decorum, you know the world has gone to absolute shit. There you go. And before you ask, no, I will not say happy birthday to your cousin, Philip McCrevis. Because that's also funny as hell. So, long and short, uh-oh. Wah, 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 wow. But I bet you'll enjoy this one. Everybody loves a good noise like that. You sup to me and you like to you. That's cool. Have I tested crimping over now? Uncle Lou, I have to a degree. And here's the problem. So first, you need the right size crimps. Let's not ignore that fact. Crimps will slip. Here's all you need to know about crimps. Well, not everything. You're putting it on mono. Mono stretches. What happens to anything that stretches? The diameter gets smaller. That's going to happen with crimp. You crimp mono, and it's going to hold until a certain point when it doesn't anymore. You can't get over the physics of it stretches and therefore is going to slide. Now you can tie a knot in the end of the tag end, or you can melt it up, and that's going to help that part, but it's still going to slide up closer to the hook. And once it gets super close to the hook, you've got, and let me use a bigger hook because it'll make more sense. So you get this like so, and you got the crimp right there. And once it gets to a certain point, the edges of the crimp are going to start cutting because it's gotten so close to the hook. It's got right up on there, so it's going to start cutting that mono, and then poof. So, I want to say, I can't remember if it was 100 pounds or 80 pounds I tested, but it got up to 70 pounds before it slipped or broke or whatever it did when all was said and done. But the problem with thicker mono is it's hard to tie a good knot. The knots that work with thinner mono do not work as well with thicker mono. And at some point, you've got to find different knots. And I've searched high and low for good knots for heavy mono. And, the Centauri knot and things like that came up, but I tested them and they're not that great. Not maybe when you get up to 200 plus pound or more than the 100 pound That's as far as I go. Maybe they're better, but you're not going to get, those 90 to 100% strength knots at all. Buy a safe store, bro. Next time you come back, and I haven't banned you because I'm feeling nice today. Um, just, sit around, listen, have fun. Hey, you go, Master. Am I going fishing tomorrow? Oh, let me go look at. I can tell you real quick if I'm not. Tuesday, high of 87 and looks like thunderstorms. I'm going to look at that a little deeper. Do I want weather? I told you every time I open this app, I do not want a weather alert. So let me guess. No. The answer is hell no. Let's see. And then, once you click it, it's going to grow up to the website with ad after ad after ad after ad after ad. Did I say ads? I meant it. Daily. Another ad. AccuWeather could kiss my bunghole. I don't know what it's going to be there tomorrow. There's tomorrow. Trying to look at when it's actually going to rain, and you have to go through a lot to get there. 1 a.m. intermittent clouds. It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. We're looking for after work. After work, 51% chance of rain, 47% chance of rain, 39%, 31. So right before work gets done, it's actually it doesn't go up till 5. It's 19% and 15% before that. At 5 o'clock, by golly, it goes up to 51 and 84 degrees. And wind from the south or the west, southwest, then going from the southwest. So I don't know. It's a possibility. Thanks for picking up my items. I didn't, but whatever. Ooh. Ooh. Ashley done found the mother lode. Look at that for shizzles. If you can read it. 234.9 cents per gallon of gas. I remember when I was 16, I was working at a gas station, and for some reason, we needed a little. Oh, we were pouring gas into a carburetor. I didn't say I worked at a good one. To get it started. So I took one of those glass Coke bottles that we had back then, and I filled it up with gas. And it was then that I realized that Coke costs more than gas. How sad is that? I just had never put two and two together because, back then a 16-ounce bottle was probably 50 cents. Yes, I'm old. And of Coke cost 50 cents. And the gas was probably like 30 or less. Actually, it's probably way less than that. Yeah, Gilmaster, you ain't wrong. Let's just be honest. The two best days to go fishing were yesterday and tomorrow. Always. Nobody ever says, "Man, you should have been here today." Oh, you should have been here yesterday. Oh, well, they're going to be on tomorrow. Until you get there, then they ain't. Whatever. Yeah, I used to be that guy that, man, I came home from work, I hooked the boat up, and off I went. It didn't matter if it was snowing, if it was sleeting, if it was icy, if it was raining. My fat butt was out there on the water. It was in my bass fishing days back when I was dumb and young, mostly dumb and young. But yeah, now it's kind of like, I don't want to go. It's too cold. I mean, yes, I've got insulated bibs, but then I'd have to put them on. And then, I'd like to go fishing, but holding the boat down there and unloading it. Yeah, fair weather would be a big stretch. I'm not even in fair weather fishing anymore. I'm a lazy ass fisherman. Somebody donated $5. What the Jesus H. Christ was that? I'm a little dumbfounded. I don't know what to do with that. Somebody sent me $5. I don't remember. Well, I apparently forgot to say thank you to somebody. I don't. It was a super chat. Maybe I just didn't realize something. I don't know what I did wrong, but I did something wrong. Yeah, there was. I mean, I grew up on a farm. I had a pond on the farm, and it was, just one walk through snake-ridden grass to get there. And I swear I fished almost every day growing up. I would go out there, usually fishing with worms for bluegill, and it was funny. The things that when you were a kid that I have a very vivid imagination. I mean, to the point that I can tell you without a doubt, I distinctly remember this occurring. I was playing in the gully, step number one, and a plane came down. I looked the pilot straight in the eyes. His wing actually touched the dirt and scooped some of it off. We all know that couldn't have happened, but I remember it as vividly as the day that it didn't happen, that I thought it happened. Anyway, so there was this one spot. There was a good clearing on the bank right here. And then over here on this corner of this small pond, there's cattails over there. Cattails all around it, but this particular, I could get in here. But if I dropped it from over here, I couldn't catch anything. I mean, it just made sense to drop it right on their heads, right? But I could cast it. And I had some really good accuracy for a kid with a bobber and a Zebco 202. And that was the place to catch the fish. That was you. I can't tell you how many hundreds of bluegills I pulled out of that thing over the years. But I used to think you'd catch one and he'd be small. Throw him back. I used to think that he just darted right back over there. And then I'd catch him again and again. So I got to the point, I mean, I'd throw him to the other side of the pond. I'm like, quit. I want the bigger ones. It never occurred to me, never understood that they school by size. And if that's the size that's in there that day, they may all look exactly alike because they all in the same class. I was not a bright kid. Actually, I was a pretty smart kid, just not smart about certain things. Anyway, there's that. Well, folks, I've been doing this for almost 2.5 hours. I got 36 thumbs up, which is about 45 more than I deserve. 10 of you are still here. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure some of you are just really nice people and left me running in the background and wanted to go see something far more enjoyable with your lives. But in any case, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you weren't here earlier, somehow I lost a pound, not a pound, like a quarter pound spool of 30-pound mono off of my desk. I was tying rigs and one of them broke. 80-pound mono, super strength. So I knocked off my desk somewhere, the 30-pound roll, and I don't know where it is. So I got to find that because that's going to be useful. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful day. And if you're really that hard up for Lamar Jackson in it, I'll give you one here in just a second. Thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. We will see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And there's your Lamar. Bye-bye.